so a Hebridean flock. Alongside that, we have a store lamb finishing business, which buy in roughly 5,000 lambs a year. And we finish them on arable farms throughout Norfolk and Lincolnshire. Over to you, Tiff.
My name's Tiffany Davey, and I'm based on my family's broadacre and prime lamb property, where we run 3,000 breeding ultra whites in the central wheat belt. Over to you, Hannah.
Perfect. So my name is Hannah Logan. I am a 6th generation farmer based out of Alberta, Canada. Our operation is centered around pedigreed seed and processing, and we also raise full-blood limousines. After completing my post-secondary education, I moved back to the family farm with my husband, where we started raising polypace sheep on a more intensive scale. And in 2021, we built a sizable sheep barn where we are working up to lambing about 500 head in an accelerated management style. So that's just a bit about me.
Awesome. So our topic today is advancing sheep welfare. So we're going to go through and discuss, just do a comparison of all of the countries and discuss topics within that. There we go.
Although Canada has the largest landmass, it has the smallest sheep population out of our 3 countries. A huge difference in our systems, which we discussed in Australia, was that in Canada and the USA, most sheep farming is on indoor systems because of extreme weather and predation. In contrast, Australia, NZ, and UK farm more extensively, with many sheep farmers in the UK lambing indoors but turning out onto pasture post-lambing. Our production systems have big differences, but as sheep farmers, we face similar challenges, including challenges regarding animal welfare.
So we're just going to talk about some of the animal welfare problems that we see facing our different countries. We'll start off with Canada. Oh, sorry, Australia.
Sorry. We're all going to go through and discuss these 2 topics, and then obviously do an overall comparison.
Have we lost Tiff?
We might have lost Tiff. Tiff, you might need to turn your camera off if we can't grab her back. Katie or Hannah, you guys?
I can try screen sharing. We'll see how good my internet is. Sometimes it can be a bit finicky. Here, let's see. I don't think I have access to. Oh, yeah, I do. Sorry.
Tiff's just joining us again. Nothing like a little bit of technical problems to keep us all on the edge.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
Don't apologise, Tiff. It's just the internet. Are you right to try again? You might need to jump your camera off if you have problems.
Yeah, I'll just screen share again. We were only talking last night about how we were so scared this exact thing would happen. So we were like, oh, I've got the best internet, so I'll go. How funny. Of course it did happen. All right, cool. Can you guys see that there now? Maybe I will just turn my camera off.
Perfect. Thanks, Tiff. Well done.
All right. Where were we? Oh, yeah. So pain relief. So pain relief is becoming more commonly used amongst sheep growers in Australia. It's still many still need to adopt pain relief, but it is best practice. It's been encouraged. And the most commonly used pain relief is trisulfan for mucilage, and then the meloxicam for injuries or general tailing. So Australian farmers can access pain relief, trisulfan Butec. It's available to purchase over the counter. Numb nuts, which is quite commonly used, lignocaine, is accessed through our vets and it's readily available, but you do have to contact your local vets. The availability of vets. So there is Department of Vets available to all growers, and they're contactable 24/7 for any reportable diseases. But I know it's really, I'll go to this next slide. Australia is so vast. So I know here in Western Australia, we're experiencing a shortage of local vets. So every state department varies and offers different schemes. So currently in Western Australia, where we are, there is a program where the state government is offering discounted postmortems, encouraging growers to use these government vets or even their local vets more than what they are. And access to vets is hugely based on how isolated your property is. So, for example, Australia's largest sheep station is 2.5 million acres, and it's located 379 kilometres from the closest vet. So there is vets in plains, but in these instances, in some enterprises, their properties are so vast and so extensive, they don't necessarily call in a vet. So things are left untreated and sometimes unfound, just because of how our properties are. But in other instances, they're closer to veterinarians, so would use them more than, say, what we would on our enterprise, because the properties are smaller and you would find those, cases faster. Over to Hannah.
Perfect. So in Canada, before December 1st, 2018, Canadian farmers could purchase livestock drugs over the counter without needing to consult a veterinarian. However, due to some rising concerns about antibiotic resistance, new regulations have been introduced. Now, Canadian farmers must consult with a licensed veterinarian for an animal assessment before accessing medications. These drugs can be obtained from veterinarian clinics, pharmacies, and licensed distributors. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency and Health Canada regulate dosage and withdrawal periods to ensure safety and efficacy. Medications are approved through Health Canada's Veterinarian Drugs Doctorate, undergoing rigorous review before they can be marketed for any sort of use. These regulations aim to protect both animal health and public safety. So one of the big things going on in Canada is we're trying to reduce red tape for sheep producers. So Canada has taken significant steps to simplify access to veterinarian medications for sheep producers, particularly in response to the shortage of veterinarians. And I'm just going to outline a few key initiatives here. So in some regions, veterinarian technicians are now authorized to administer certain medications and perform routine health checks. This reduces reliance on veterinarians and ensures sheep producers can get the care they need more effectively. The CFIA's EDR program allows for the use of unapproved medications during urgent situations. That ensures critical treatments are available when conventional options fall a bit short. Canada's MUMS program streamlines the approval of drugs for species that don't have many treatment options, like sheep. We only have 1 million in Canada, so they're not a major species here. And this helps reduce regulatory hurdles, making medications more accessible to smaller livestock sectors. And lastly, the VHP framework simplifies access to low-risk health products, such as supplements and over-the-counter medications, which don't require prescription. This makes it easier for producers to maintain animal health without the need for constant vet involvement.
In the UK, there's easy access to pain relief and medication across the counter and through your vet. However, the industry faces challenges, including production and supply inconsistencies. We're also facing pressure on painful practices, such as castration and docking. The Animal Welfare Committee is aware of painful practices on farm, such as the use of rubber bands beyond the legal age limit of 7 days. They are pushing for new legislation by 2028 at the latest. This would include banning castration of male lambs that would be slaughtered before reaching puberty. They would also require the use of anaesthetic where significant pain is likely to be caused, including during the first 7 days of life. The National Farmers Union maintains that tail docking and castration are necessary to manage negative health and welfare impacts caused by fly strike and unwanted pregnancies. Like Canada and Australia, the UK is also facing veterinary workforce shortages. The UK vet workforce is highly reliant on EU registrants. However, the number of EU vets coming into the UK has more than halved since Brexit because access has become more difficult. Brexit has also led to an increased workload for vets because of new biosecurity measures for animals entering the UK and changes in food and animal certification.
You're right.
Also worth mentioning is the Animal Health and Welfare Pathway in the UK. The Animal Health and Welfare Pathway is a government initiative aimed at supporting the gradual and continued improvement of farm animal health and welfare. This includes a fully funded annual farm visit from a vet, access to capital grants, and access to disease eradication control programs. As part of our project, we considered technological advances that could improve welfare. Numbnuts is a form of targeted pain relief for lamb castration and tail docking. The product comprises of a ring applicator combined with an injector that dispenses the local anaesthetic. Numbnuts has been available in Australia since 2019, New Zealand since 2021, and is now available to farmers in the UK, subject to local regulations. The first photo on this slide shows the Numbnuts applicator, which Hannah and I saw on the trade stand at LAMEX. The second photo shows a demo of application.
So this is one of the things we're really excited about here where I'm from. Lidobands offer an innovative and humane solution for pain management during castration and docking procedures. Each Lidoband contains about 80 mgs of lidocaine, which begins numbing the area about 2 hours after application. The pain relief lasts up to 42 days, which is a significant improvement compared to the injectables that provide relief for only 2 to 3 hours. These bands are specifically designed to deliver lidocaine directly to the site of the procedure, making them ideal for localized pain management during castration or tail docking. In testing, Lidoban maintained anesthetic levels for the full 35-day casting period, ensuring sustained pain relief. And this was confirmed by the Alberta lamb producers in 2023. Lidobans are now approved for use in Canada, New Zealand, the US, and Australia, making a major advancement in sheep welfare technology.
This slide just summarizes the common challenges that we face in this area, including the shortages of vets, licensing of new products, and the increased attention on and pressure on common practices such as docking, castration, and mulesing.
So this moving on to the next part of our presentation, where we're going to be comparing the processing markets in Australia. So Australia has a strong market. So this is through local butchers and supermarkets. And Australia continues to be one of the largest sheep meat eaters in the world. Australians consume approximately 6 kilograms of sheep meat per person, according to the MLA State of the Industry report. And I just thought it was a fun fact that 28% of lamb buyers are from senior couples, and it accounts for 33% of the lamb's volume and consumption. So our other markets include live export and boxed meat. So in 2022, Australia's top 3 sheep meat export destinations were China, and then Malaysia, and then the largest shipments of lamb so far in August 2024 has been United States. So there's 6,973 tonnes, China 3,794 tonnes, Papua New Guinea 2,317 tonnes. So it is currently down 5% compared to August in 2023, but we have a very strong markets for our lamb. So they're processed here in Australia. Everything must be processed in a registered abattoir. This means there is a high level of welfare, including custom kills. So any grower that sells directly to consumers, they even have to book their animals into an abattoir to be custom killed. So although good animal welfare, I know in WA it's becoming really hard to get your animals in to be custom killed, therefore harder to direct sell to the consumers. Another huge big market for us here in Western Australia is the live export. So the value of the trade is at 143 million, and it accounts for 17% of WA's sheep turnoff. So yeah, based on the 2021 to 2022 prices, where there's account for approximately 95% of the trade. So Australia, in regards to how these animals are processed, it's really unique. So out of the 136 countries that live exports their animals, we're the only ones that have this program called SCAS. So all animals are actually slaughtered and handled in compliance with Australian welfare standards. So we sell with the animals overseas, and the exporter is involved in overseeing the processing of those animals in approved abattoirs overseas. So that's for both sheep and beef. But animals there, which is under speculation, are not stunned in many countries in the Middle East in compliance with religion practices. But Australia continues to work with these countries to encourage stunning. There's a few stats there. I can read them out, but some I thought were very interesting. All right. Canada.
So here's a brief overview of our processing and markets. So Canada's processing systems vary, with farmers selling through auction yards, co-ops, and direct marketing. Some farmers sell their lambs to middlemen or direct to processors, while others market processed products directly to consumers. Direct marketing has advantages in terms of building brand loyalty and capturing higher returns. However, it also comes along with some challenges, like ensuring the humane handling of animals during processing. So there are some issues with the ethics of direct marketing lambs. Direct marketing is when farmers sell lambs directly to buyers who either transport the animal to be butchered or perform the butchering themselves, either on the farm or at an off-farm facility. While this method has several advantages, including personalized arrangements like halal processing and often higher returns for the farmer, it does come with some challenges. Transporting animals off-farm for butchering or butchering on-site must be done in a humane manner to ensure welfare standards are met. This isn't always the case. And improper handling or processing can lead to stress and potential harm of the animals. On-farm slaughter may not always meet the same regulatory or welfare standards as licensed facilities. So this can create concerns around hygiene, food safety, and ensuring a humane process is followed. Balancing the potential for higher profits with the ethical and operational challenges of direct marketing is something many farmers must navigate very carefully. So in 2020, Alberta put out an uninspected slaughter operation license. So what they did is provide regulation and framework to support an on-farm slaughter through the uninspected slaughter operation license. So this happened on July 29th, 2020, and they introduced this new license allowing for farmers to slaughter animals on site and sell the uninspected meat directly to customers for personal use only. The license is relatively affordable at $100, is valid for 5 years, and includes specific annual limits on the number of animals that can be slaughtered. This license provides flexibility to farmers to meet local demand and cater to personal use buyers, but also emphasizes the continued importance of food safety standards for public sales. So that's a bit of the back work and backstory. Now, going on towards the welfare and how we handle this situation, there's some considerations we must make. When it comes to on-farm slaughter and transportation, there are several concerns that need to be addressed to ensure this humane treatment of animals. On-farm slaughter can be convenient, but it doesn't always guarantee a quick or humane death if not performed correctly. There's a risk of unnecessary suffering if proper procedures aren't followed. When animals are transported off farm, they must be handled with care. Inappropriate methods, such as transporting the sheep in the back of a car, you'd be surprised by how many stories I've heard of that actually happening, can cause stress and even injury, which negatively impacts the animal and is not a good ideal of animal welfare. So we have to adhere to humane practices throughout the process for maintaining these standards. From transport to slaughter, farmers are responsible for ensuring the ethical treatments of their animals, and by prioritizing these concerns, we can reduce unnecessary suffering and promote higher welfare standards throughout the entire process.
Thank you, Hannah. In the UK, transport and slaughter are very well regulated. Our main welfare concerns would be surrounding non-stunned slaughter, which is a requirement for some religious beliefs. EID is mandatory in the UK, which helps with food product traceability and also controlling the spread of disease outbreaks. That's very topical at the moment with blue tongue. Go next slide, please, Tim.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I was like...
So we can't ignore the value of the religious market. It's estimated that Muslims account for 20% of lamb consumption in England alone, and more than 60% of halal consumers eat lamb weekly. Currently, 72% of the sheep slaughtered in England and Wales are killed according to halal processes. Roughly 2/3 of these are stunned prior to slaughter, while 1/3 receive no stun at all. One way in which the UK is tackling this issue is through demonstration of life protocol. This is a halal assurance scheme which allows abattoirs to validate that the animals they handle are alive at the point of slaughter by showing ruminants can be revived from electrical head-only stun. This therefore meets religious beliefs whilst maintaining a high welfare standard.
So when it comes to ensuring humane slaughter practices, several challenges must be addressed to promote animal welfare across all three countries. Minimizing pain and distress during slaughter is a priority. However, ensuring that all sheep are humanely processed can be challenging, especially in smaller or religious slaughter operations where resources may be limited. Long-distance transport of sheep raises welfare concerns. Conditions such as overcrowding and inadequate ventilation can lead to significant stress and discomfort for the animals, negatively affecting their well-being. Consistent enforcement of welfare standards is critical, yet often difficult to achieve, and variability in regulations across different regions creates gaps in compliance. And smaller facilities may struggle to meet the necessary training and resource requirements. There's a growing demand for transparency and accountability in slaughter practices. Consumers are increasingly aware of animal welfare issues and are advocating for higher standards, making it essential for the industry to respond proactively. So by addressing these challenges, we can reduce unnecessary suffering and enhance welfare standards throughout the entire slaughter process.
Opportunities for future cooperation. So access to pain relief and veterinary and medical care. We believe in a united voice could be a more persuasive tool for voicing the importance of continued investment into the development and manufacturing of sheep medicines and vaccines. To combat the challenges of accessing essential veterinary drugs in Canada, I hope this was my slide, the Canadian Sheep Federation's collaboration with many major organisations representing Canada's livestock production sector recently published a white paper highlighting some solutions. Key solutions being joint approvals, so collaborating with other countries to streamline the approval process. Global approvals, recognise and adopt global approvals to reduce barriers, and cost reduction, so lower approval costs to incentivize manufacturers.
And that concludes our presentation.